5-0. This was table 2.
Wow, Bryant Cook is playing a Storm deck. He's playing Burning Wish, Lion's Eye Diamond Storm, ad nauseum.
All right, well, this is going to be fun, and it's probably going to be quick because it looks like they're playing very, very similar decks. It looks like Royce Walter is playing ad nauseum, Empty the Warrens, Infernal Tuner, Burning Wish, Rite of Flame, Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, pretty much everything you're going to see. So it's combo versus combo.
Yeah, these two players might be friends because they have really, really similar lists.
I don't see a different card in the list. Maybe in the sideboard.
Not even the mana base.
You have 2 Chain of Vapors. You have 3 Abrupt Decays. It might be the exact 75.
I think these two are friends because they have the same 75, maybe 74.
Yeah. So if you guys like Storm decks, if you like combo decks, well, this is the matchup for you. This might be quick.
That's right. Both players are sporting 4 main deck silence apiece, which is going to be huge.
Yes.
Whoever draws more silence and discard spells should probably win.
All right, so we'll see what happens. There's a Gataxian Probe from Royce. Brian Cook to your left. He shows off a hand of Underground Sea, Burning Wish, Silence, Lotus Petals, Brainstorm, Chrome Mox, and Rite of Flame.
Wow, and that's a nice looking deck from Brian Cook. All foreign, all foil, and you know, like I said a few rounds ago, this is what I love about Legacy. People just are so proud of their decks. They know how to play their decks so well because they get to play them for years. They get to try and trade for, collect the cards for them for years at a time.
Yep.
Really cool.
I mean, it's a nice looking hand as well.
Yeah.
We'll see what Royce has to do right here.
Yeah, so, the silence key in this matchup.
Yeah, we'll see. Brian Cook from Syracuse, New York. He actually created this deck. He's one of the creators. That's what he put as one of his accomplishments. So we'll see if he plays his deck perfectly. He also top 8 at Grand Prix Columbus, which was a Legacy tournament. So he's definitely familiar with Legacy.
And his opponent is Royce Walter, also Syracuse, New York.
So these guys must have came together. These guys must be good friends.
Yeah. Royce Walter really wanted us to know, wrote down on his information sheet, he has a great love for bacon.
All right.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Me too.
We'll see what happens. There's a Ponder, Royce shuffling his deck. Now, what turn would you say this combo deck? We just saw Jackie Lee go off, and we said that she could go off on turn 3, but she didn't. You know, it was more grindy. Storm could go off anywhere from what? What do you think? If you had to put like a range of turns?
Well, it could go off on turn 1 theoretically, but more likely turn 2 is really the earliest it can realistically go off, all the way up to turn 4 with the slower hand.
Yeah.
Burning Wish costs quite a bit of mana.
Yeah, Burning Wish is 2 mana. Essentially, after sideboard, when you're playing against a deck that will have some counter spells such as Daze or Spell Pierce, or some cards like discard spells, we'll say Inquisition of Kozilek, Thoughtseize, Hem to Torok, the games get a lot more grindy. It goes a lot longer. You know, if you're just playing by yourself, if you're just goldfishing, and you set up a perfect hand, sure, turn 1's a possibility, but that's highly unlikely there.
Yep, and as we see here, Royce Walter ponders, petals, Bryant Cook, land, petal, and he might just be passing the turn here. He's going to save that Brainstorm.
Yeah, why not, right? All right, so Royce draws another Brainstorm. Royce is a tough name to say. Royce. It's like Royce draws. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
It's like how Todd Anderson might pronounce rice or something like that. Not too tough. Take some lessons from him.
All right. So we'll have this Brainstorm get resolved in just a moment here.
Yeah, and Royce has one of the 3 fetch lands in the deck. This is a deck that can't really afford to play a lot of fetch lands. It has to play 5 color lands. But he has one of them, so he'll be able to clear out the top of his deck, go find another blue land to play a cantrip, probably Volcanic Island here.
Yeah, there is he passed by the Underground Sea, so it's most likely Volcanic Island, and that's exactly what it is. Volcanic Island from Royce there. He'll shuffle up his deck. Now we do have a second feature match if this match does go pretty quick. So far, every match that we had has gotten very, very slow, so we didn't really have a chance to give you guys 2 matches in one.
Right, I think Ruben wanted to do a complete 180 here, pick the fastest match possible. The early turns seemed pretty calm, but eventually one of these players is just going to say that he's had enough and go for the combo.
Now, do you think this just comes down to who draws better, or is it a lot of skill involved? What would you say here?
Not really. It's more about knowing your own deck rather than knowing how to play the certain matchup. You have to know when you can go off in marginal spots. Like that's pretty much when you play combo against combo. You have to know. You have to try and figure out the percentages on the fly.
Yeah.
Sure, you can have a 100% chance of going off the next turn, but if your opponent's going to kill you 90%, then you probably have to go for your small percentage chance of winning. And
Sure. And Royce once again shuffles with his ponder. It looks like he's drawn 0 rituals, and maybe that's what he's trying to look for. Trying to look for something to build up a storm count to get a lot of mana.
I think so. Lion's Eye Diamond is also a crucial piece that his hand might need too. I can't quite see it. Spending a lot of time on the table.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of people out there who's watching this and they're really enjoying, combo. Personally, myself, I'm not the biggest fan of combo. I normally play decks that will, try to beat combo.
Right.
But here, both these guys definitely love combo.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a
This is
brainstorm.
clear. So this looks like an end-of-turn brainstorm from Bryant Cook.
Yeah. I think if these guys played standard, they would try to play some combo deck they would make.
Maybe Junk Reanimator.
Yeah, I guess Jump Reanimator is the closest thing to a combo deck. Maybe something with Burning Tree Emissaries.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We were just talking about that with Ruben. You could play a deck with 4 Street Rats, 4 Gataxian Probes in Legacy, and then Burning Tree Emissaries, so you have a 52 card deck. So you could play Naya Blitz with Burning Tree Emissaries, have a better chance of getting a multiple Burning Tree Emissary draw.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, it might not be good enough against these guys, though. They're like, all right, you have all these Burning Tree Emissaries and a Curd Ape, I'll just kill you with my combo.
Yeah. Kill you dead.
All right, so Brian is shuffling up, Mr. Cook himself, 5-0. So it definitely shows that both these guys are capable of playing Legacy, and it's definitely backed up by Brian Cook's top 8 at Grand Prix Columbus.
Yeah, it's not the pairing that they wanted, but you can't be too upset when you have this many wins in a tournament to play against a friend. It's it's going to happen eventually. This round, the next round.
Yeah, I mean, there's has to be just a certain amount of 5-0s in a tournament or 6-0s in a tournament. They could draw here, but again, a draw only rewards 1 point to each player, which is a total of 2, and a win rewards 3. Oh, Duress right there. That's going to be pretty good for Royce next turn.
Yeah, Gataxian Probe, though, that's going to let Bryant Cook know about these 2 silences in hand, and both these players have to be wary of the silences.
Oh, of course. A silence could just destroy somebody's day. There you see it right there. Just 1 white mana, your opponents can't cast spells this turn.
Right.
If the spells are already cast or already on the stack, that's fine. But once you have priority, you can play silence and pretty much end all the nonsense. So Royce will lead off with another brainstorm. He cast multiple brainstorm / ponders so far this game.
Yeah.
And last card is that Scalding Tarn. Very important to be able to, hide a silence, hide something that Royce might not really want, shuffle away those cards, and then start digging in again with something like a Gataxian Probe, which he's just drawn. Royce just double checking, trying to map out what's going on in his head, what's going on the battlefield, and that's really what you have to do with combo. There's not much or any creature combat math. Maybe in this matchup, one guy might go Empty the Warrens for 12, some other guy might go Empty the Warrens for 18.
Right. They both have 1 of each in their decks.
Yeah. They also have the Burning Wish, and they have a unique sideboard. Sideboard looks something like a Chain of Vapor, Cabal Therapy, Abrupt Decay, Grave Shot, Empty the Warrens. Tendrils is really the key card. Past in Flames. So we'll see what happens there. Also, Diminishing Returns. That's a card we haven't seen in a long time. Was that out of Alliance as well?
It was out of Alliances. Lesser known blue card from Alliances, not quite Force of Will. But here comes the Duress for Royce Walter. So.
All right. Now, what card is he really looking to grab here?
It depends on Bryant Cook's hand. If he only has 1 ritual, probably the ritual.
Ooh, it's Burning Wish and Tutor really stand out to me.
Infernal Tutor is one of the most important cards in the deck. Infernal Tutor paired with Lion's Eye Diamond means that you can go search up an Ad Nauseam from the Infernal Tutor Hellbent and then cast it with the mana you get from Lion's Eye Diamond.
Okay, so if you were playing in Royce's shoes, what would you take?
Well, he doesn't have the Lion's Eye Diamond yet, nor does he have any cantrips or brainstorms to find it. It's a tough choice. I might go for the... Oh, wow, the Silence. Okay, so Royce Walter...
Silence. Maybe that's the important card in the matchup. Remember, Rite of Flame counts for both players. So if one player has 4 Rite of Flames in their graveyard, and the other guy just played his first one, it's looking for that guy.
Yeah, for sure. That's a bunch of red mana. Royce Walter takes the Silence because he wants to go off.
All right. So there's a Burning Wish from Brian Cook. And Royce might respond with a silence, and he does respond with the silence. So this matchup seems very difficult, very intricate to play. I guess if these guys are really good friends, maybe they played this matchup a lot, but for the most part, I'm sure this might be the first time people at home are watching this type of deck play against the mirror match. Because that's something you don't really see too often. Lots of times you see, Esper Deathblade versus Esper Deathblade, maybe Rug Delver versus Rug Delver, but something like this, it's much more tricky, I would say.
Yeah, the Storm Miro, not a combo that, or not a matchup that really gets played a lot. Storm is always underplayed, even if it's a really good deck for a format. People just have a distaste for these combo decks that don't interact with their opponent.
All right, so there's a Probe. We see Cabal Therapy, we see Rite of Flame, we see Dark Ritual, we see Lotus Petal, and of course the Infernal Tutor, which we saw last turn as well. Bryant has access to all his colors: City of Brass, Underground Sea, Volcanic Island, so he's in good shape as far as that goes, you know?
Right.
So Gemstone Mine drawn, in case you guys aren't familiar with Gemstone Mine, it works as a City of Brass, but it's even better because you don't have to take any damage. The drawback is you can only use it a couple of times.
Right, but in this deck, it's usually a lot better than City of Brass because every life point matters due to ad nauseum.
Yeah. All right, so a Rite of Flame has been drawn for Royce. I think it's just to pass the turn. I think Royce is kind of worried that Bryant is almost ready to go off. You know, Royce might have to use, yet again, a silence.
Oh, yeah, look at this. This is the Upkeep Silence.
Upkeep Silence to slow him down. He knows Bryant has a stacked hand. Ooh, and I think Bryant just drew his silence.
Wow.
That's going to be pretty good.
What a draw. Royce Walter is probably going to try and go off if he's silencing.
Empty the Warrens. Okay. There's a Rite of Flame, so Royce is thinking, he's doing some math. He's going to lead off with a Burning Wish, I believe, and that's exactly what he does. What will he go get in his sideboard? Any guess right now? Oh, there's a silence.
Geez, maybe a Cabal Therapy was what he was going for, to maybe strip Bryant of his combo pieces, but silence means that Royce might change his mind here.
Yeah.
He might have to go get something else.
Yeah, I think the way they're playing it is just stop your opponent, stop your opponent, stop your opponent. That's more important than, you know, try to go off.
Right.
All right, so there it is, of Royce.
Tendrils, I believe.
I believe it's the Tendrils that he had. Yeah,
I think that was the FNM promo Tendrils right there.
FNM promo Tendrils. So we'll get that on the screen for you. It's a pretty straightforward card. 2 colorless, black. Your opponent loses 2 life. Oh, it's Graveboard Cabal? Is that what it actually was?
I suppose so. Let's get that up on the screen.
Yeah, let's get that, yeah.
No, that's not in the sideboard.
No. We're getting tricked by the producers once again. We're right.
So Rite of Flame from Bryant Cook, that's going to count for 1 extra Rite of Flame.
Yeah.
Lotus Petal sacrificed, Dark Ritual played, Infernal Tutor Hellbent. That's going to go grab an Ad Nauseum. And now the fun begins. Bryant Cook has 19 life to work with, so I'm not sure if every card in his deck added up would equal to 19 life here.
Yeah, Tendrils of Agony, the DCI foil promo, it looks like. Yeah, there it is. Target player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life, and it's Storm.
Right.
So if I play 1 spell, if I play 2 spells, I'll play 10 spells, deal you 20, and that's pretty much it right there. So we'll see what's going to happen here, though. Going off. I mean, is there any way to be stopped?
At this point, Bryant Cook would have to get really unlucky to fizzle here. He would have to start by hitting Empty the Warrens, and then a bunch of Infernal Tutors and Burning Wishes. Those could potentially add up to a lot of damage, but it doesn't look like it. Land, 1, 1, 2.
That's 5, 6, 8, 9, 11. I mean,
yeah, and there's the scoop. That's close. That's definitely enough there.
Yeah, that's all Bryant really needed. And all right, so Bryant will be up the first game. How do you think they sideboard for this matchup? What card really stands out, if anything? You know,
yeah. These players' main decks are set up pretty well here.
It's tough. Chain of Vapor.
Yeah, no one has Dark Confidants. That used to be a sideboard card for the Epic Storm, but neither player has gone with that card. Chain of Vapor doesn't do much. You could bounce Lotus Petal. It's pretty weak.
Sure. Yeah.
Can Chain of Vapor bounce lands?
Chain of Vapor is non-land.
Okay, because if it could bounce lands, it could be used to disrupt a Hellbent Infernal Tutor. That would be pretty narrow. Cabal Therapy, there are 2 extra Cabal Therapies in the sideboard. those will probably come in. I don't know if they'll leave one in the board to be able to Burning Wish for, so at least one extra Cabal Therapy for both players. Other than that, not much. It's a Wish board, it's a Xantid Swarm board, and it's a Bounce Spell board, Abrupt Decay. So nothing really. These players are going to keep their main decks real similar.
Yeah, now this is a type of deck that a lot of players will be scared to play against. They don't really know what's important lots of times. They're like, oh, should I counter this Ritual? Should I counter this Burning Wish? Which card should I take with my discard spell? I mean, we saw last round where Calcano was unfamiliar of how to deal with the elves from Jackie Late.
Right.
Imagine if Calcano was up against the Epic Storm. You know, if a player hasn't played much Legacy, it's really difficult to kind of think on the fly and know what cards are important.
Right, because it's not like you can just have a laundry list and say, okay, this card is the most important, this card is the next most important.
Yeah, if you have to
it changes all the time when you're playing against Storm.
Sure, if you have to give any advice to the new players, if they're playing against, say, the Epic Storm, and they have never played against it before, you know, what cards should they try to stop, or how should they go about, you know, attacking the opposition?
Well, they're cards that are really important, meaning they're cards that actually get them advantage. For Burning Wish, for Inferno Tutor, one ad nauseum. It's not like the deck's just going to play a bunch of spells and then tendrils you out in the main deck. That's probably not going to happen.
It could.
It could, but
Yeah.
There's usually only one tendrils in the deck. So trying to counter the Infernal Tutor is pretty good. Trying to counter the Burning Wish is pretty good. Sometimes Lion's Eye Diamond, depending on what route your opponent wants to take, but usually you don't want to fight over the 0 mana spells. Usually it's more the important ones like Ad Nauseam, Burning Wish, Infernal Tutor. But it can be tough when your opponent plays Silence.
Yeah, silence is definitely important, not only in the mirror match, but against other decks as well that might want to try to disrupt you with counters, for example. So you say, hey, silence, you have to now counter this, otherwise I'm going to go off freely.
Right. Pretty much when you're playing against the Storm deck, you either want to choose, based on your hand, based on your deck, whether you want to attack their mana, meaning Wasteland their dual lands and counter their rituals, or whether you want to attack their card draw type spells or their tutor type effects, the Burning Wish Infernal Tutor.
Yeah, I mean, their deck only plays 12 lands, and you might think, wow, 12 lands? That's not a lot, but it does play many rituals. It also plays Lotus Petal and Lion's Eye Diamond and Chrome Mox.
Chrome Mox especially.
Yeah.
That's like 15 lands right there.
Yeah, maybe something like Chalice of the Void would be the best way to attack this type of deck. If you think this deck might be played at the Invitational, and you're qualified for the Invitational and you're watching this, hey, maybe throw a couple of Chalice of Void in your sideboard and see how that does for you.
Yeah, Chalice is really strong, especially if you can play it for 0 on the play. Just knock out 11 cards from the deck.
Yeah, and I mean, even on 1 is really good too.
Yeah.
Stop Dark Ritual, stop Rite of Flame, but most importantly, stop Ponder and Brainstorm.
Right. If you can play a Chalice on 0, 1, or 2, they're all really, really good.
Definitely. What do you think about playing a Chalice type deck, maybe with Metalworker?
I wouldn't like it with Metalworker. I would like a blue Chalice shell, maybe like an Ancient Tomb, perhaps like Back to Basic shell even.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I could see working. Ancient Tomb Blood Moon Chalice maybe.
Sure.
Like red Metalworker, that could be good.
Okay, yeah, maybe something to think about if you guys are innovating, if you guys are looking at the M14 spoiler list. I know that's out now, pretty much almost all the cards, just about, so you could start seeing if any M14 cards will make their way into Legacy. Normally not when it comes to core sets, but you never know. I mean Ponder's out there, but I guess Ponder was a reprint.
Yeah, they've been changing up the core sets though. They've been more and more like real sets ever since the first M10, you know, the first printing of Baneslayer Angel. So.
Sure, yep. Baneslayer was a beating.
Yep.
I think Baneslayer made its way into Legacy for a little bit.
Yeah. Not a bad one of.
All right, so both players will draw their 7 cards. Both players 5-0, and it's only a 9-round tournament. So when you're 6-0, and you know, in a 9-round tournament, you got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, even 5-0 in a 9-round tournament.
Yeah,
Definitely good. These players 2 wins away from locking up a spot in the top 8.
yeah. Both players are going to keep. There's a Gataxian Probe. I feel like Gataxian Probe is probably the most common turn 1 play with the Ectus Storm. You almost always lead off with.
Wow. Look at this hand that Brian Cook kept.
Powerful hand. That's pretty amazing. Imagine if he just draws a Empty the Warrens.
Yeah, or an Infernal Tutor or a Burning Wish or anything like that.
Really good hand. I wonder if Royce has any disruption.
Yeah.
Maybe Cabal Therapy.
All therapy would be sick right here.
Yeah. We'll find out in a second what will happen. Now, do you like Cabal Therapy over, say, a Thoughtseize or something along those lines?
Thoughtseize is tough because of the 2 life, but
Or Inquisition?
yeah, Inquisition of Kozilek is good. Duress is good.
Yeah.
It looks like they went with 2 Duress, 1 Cabal Therapy in the main, but for the sideboard they went with more Cabal Therapy. So it is kind of weird
Yeah.
how
Maybe,
they split that.
maybe we could ask him about that. Why Cabal Therapy over something like Thoughtseize, Inquisition, or Duress?
Yeah.
It's not like we have creatures that we want to sacrifice. I mean, if you have Empty the Warren's tokens, that means you pretty much already went off.
Right. The only and actually also along the same line, Silence over Orm's Chant. The only real difference there is that Silence doesn't target and Orm's Chant does.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of a difference that is.
For Leyline?
Yeah,
The
Leyline.
Leyline,
White Leyline.
Yeah, the white Leyline, yeah. That's definitely...
That's
yeah,
about it.
I guess white Leyline could be another way to try to stop this deck.
Yeah, if you have a white Leyline, your opponent has to Burning Wish for a way to get by it.
Yeah, like a Chain of Vapor, for example.
Right, but it would have to be sorcery speed.
But they would have to sideboard in their Chain of Vapor.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So, and look at their sideboard, their only card they can actually go fetch up is the Empty the Warrens.
That's right, and
to get around a white Leyline.
There's no Hull Breach in either sideboard here.
Yeah. But again, white Leyline, nobody really plays it main deck, so
Right.
it would be sideboard.
So Bryant also has a Gitaxian Probe. He's another hand with a lot of doubles. Double Burning Wish, double Duress, double Dark Ritual.
Do you like that hand, or do you think it's not that strong?
I think he kept it on the back of the Duresses. It's okay. I think you have to keep it because it has 2 disruption spells, but he can't like it.
Okay. All right, so Bryant plays out pretty much his whole hand. Lotus Petal, 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds, and a Scalding Tarn. And he'll pass the turn right there.
Yeah, but I think, okay, here's Duress.
Probably Rite of Flame, I think he should be... Does he care about Rite of Flame, or does he want Silence?
I would pick the Silence.
Silence?
I don't know why Bryant Cook put the Rite of Flame to the graveyard.
Maybe it was a joke, yeah.
Yeah.
There's Lion's Eye Diamond.
So Ritual, Burning Wish for Royce. He has a lot more powerful of a hand. Bryant Cook has to just pray that he's going to draw one of his tutor effects, one of his wish effects, ad nauseum, something like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably the most important card right here, right now. As we see Bryant shuffle up, he want to go fetch up an Underground Sea. Yeah, I mean his cards are really nice looking, black bordered, foiled, foreign foils. You know.
Yeah, you got to give him props for this deck. He's worked really hard on this. You can tell.
Yeah.
I know the Syracuse, Utica area. It's a real hotbed of legacy. Pandemonium Games is up there. Eli Cassis's store, I believe.
Yeah.
A lot of people playing Legacy, a lot of weekly Legacy tournaments. Really a great place to play an Eternal format.
All right, so Bryant draws, sacrifices the Misty Rainforest. Oh, wow. That's insane.
He drew it.
Yeah, what a draw.
Yeah, the one ad nauseum in the deck. It's drawn by Bryant Cook, and that's why he's the master. That's why he made the deck.
I was actually thinking that, not that it really matters, but the Rite of Flame, maybe he should have taken because Silence wasn't really going to do anything that turn.
Right. I suppose, but at the same time, I don't know. How can you play around the one ad nauseum?
All right, there's Lotus Petal, there's the ad nauseum. All right, let's see what happens.
So in response to the ad nauseum, Cook's going to sacrifice one Lion's Eye, probably 2. No, just the 1 it looks like.
All right, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nothing, 6 there, still 6, 7. I mean, it's pretty much, all right, so there's
there
9, yeah. He can just keep going, there's 11. He could even go once more. I guess he's just checking his sideboard just to make sure. He doesn't want to kill himself there.
Right, he doesn't want to mess up. He doesn't want to hit a 5-drop or something.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, there's Lion. You have 3 red floating. There's Brainstorm. And I think Bryant could just stop right there.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised Royce hasn't scooped up his 2 permanents.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Royce could do anything given his hand of Burning Wish, Duress, Dark Ritual.
Yeah, and there's the scoop, and there's the hand that he offers. He's yeah, I won out at you, buddy. Sorry.
Wow, quick game.